Alexa, play sad music. The Monster Hunter Wilds open beta test is over and I'm sad and unconsolable. To give myself some coping mechanisms, I am going to fill the Capcom official survey about the beta with suggestions about Gunlance, what I think needs improvement, fixing, or some general all-around ideas. To start, I'm going to show you my main ruined expectation from the original trailer to my actual extended hands-on in the beta.
Do the impossible, see the invisible. Row, row, fight the power, touch the untouchable, break the unbreakable.
Drake Auger is one heck of a cool attack when you manage to hit a wound. It breaks the wound and is cool as heck. But it also has the defect of feeling the most clunky, buggy and odd attack of the new Gunlance. You are only allowed to keep running if you are able to touch any of the wounds of the monster. Otherwise you will get like 2 steps forward and you will keep drilling in place for a couple of awkward seconds. The move also comes with the animation where you pull out the drill and reloads the stake regardless if you got it already loaded or not. This animation takes a good chunk of time and is not weird to have the monster move a bit and have it completely ruined even if you are hitting it. I also was kinda expecting from the trailer to have it work like a charge move so you could use it as another tool to close the distance between the monster and yourself. There is also the fact that the drilling can last a bit too much and the damage per hit in the demo is not very high. Most the time the best thing to do is to keep micking the auger button to shot it earlier. The monster when stuck in a wound will flinch most the time and that gives you enough time to fire the stake part of the auger before it recovers. It is kind of fine, but I wish it were more practical to wait until the stake auto fires. So I think that the move really needs a bit of a rework so it is more useful. My main suggestion is just to make it work like I expected. Make it so that while you are holding the auger button to keep running and doing the weak drill. To compensate for this, it would cost stamina to keep moving, but that would be a fine sacrifice. Allowing you to move with it will fix the issues of the monster moving a bit and having it ruined. This also would help to hit wounds of the larger monsters. Usually I had zero problems with chatacabra, but the bigger alpha doshagumas you just couldn't try it without blind luck. The other possible fix would be to speed up getting the auger ready. This would work by just skipping the stake reload animation if you have already loaded. If the move takes a lot less time to start, then it will be a lot easier to land it in a wound and get the full move. Also would be nice to skip the 2 awkward seconds if you fail to hit a wound, but you kinda can hop out of it or guard so it is not as a big deal as the other 2. Changing themes, I find that the tooltips you get in the upper corner are incomplete and could get a lot of improvements. The biggest complaint I have about it is that it totally obscures the fact that there are 2 different wyvern fires. The normal wyvern fire is done when you trigger it directly from a regular guard or after most attacks. It is extremely slow, taking about 4 whole seconds to fire. Now, if you try to wyvern fire after a perfect guard, a successful auger, any of the worms take, or even after another wyvern fire, you will do a much faster version that only takes 2 seconds. In all cases in the help of the corner it will read as wyvern fire. Another missing input is when you have an empty chamber without shellings. The help will read as shelling, but if you try to shell you will get a quick reload with the same properties of the one you can do after any attack. This is a very important input because it allows for an awesome burst fire loop that was not possible before. So yeah, in this case the tooltip should be revised to add this one. The final case I have found is that nothing tips you about how you can do a sweep attack after doing 2 or 3 guard pokes. This is done by releasing the guard button and doing a poke quickly. This is also a very good combo path, being the fastest way into wormstake full blast from a guard or a reload, and allows to very easily chain wormstake blasts one after the other. This also carries over the hunting notes. There is no mention of the quick reload with an empty magazine. The wyvern fire description doesn't mention the existence of a quick version. And not even there are inputs for the guard thrusts and their properties. It also greatly bugs me how uncompleted are the recommended combos. Both the wormstake cannon and wormstake full blast combos are missing that can and should be finished with 1 or 2 wyvern fire. These kinda get a pass because wyvern fire may be not available, but considering these would be the fast version I would 100% suggest it to the players. But the worst of all is the burst fire combo that ends in the burst itself. This one should indicate that you can sweep after it and maybe add in stake. For pro points could even suggest the possibility of looping it by doing a hop after the burst, reload with 1 button and slam and burst again. So yeah, these hunting notes could also get these useful improvements. I think these 3 things should be the basics, and now I am going more into wish fulfillment material. The first thing is simple. If they release another beta or a full demo, please add more gunlances. One of the biggest features of Wilds is being able to carry 2 weapons, and being able to carry 2 gunlances of 2 different types would be an excellent showcase of this capacity. With at least 1 extra shell type would be enough, but I'm not going to die and would be very happy to be able to play with all 3 before the full release. Even though in the hunting notes we get a small description of the other 2 types, it is not good enough to figure out how they are going to play. Which one is going to be the best with charged shells? Talking about charged shells, I have a small wish of please to add the possibility to guard while charging. Right now while charging you only can hop or release the charges. The shield is very important for Gunlance, and most considering that you can fast wyvern fire after a perfect guard. Charging shells makes you a bit too much of a sitting duck right now. In an alternative to this, I wish that you could keep your charges after hoping once. If you are charging and an attack is coming, you either release to trade damage or hop and lose all your charges. I know that charges shells make sense to be terrible with normal taking this time, but I would like to use charged shells more often. Finally, it is a big disappointment that you get nothing special for either shells or charged shells after performing a perfect guard. The styles based on burst or wormstake full blast get access to the slam, but shells nothing once again. Here the nice idea would be that after a perfect guard, you get the chance to fire a shell with the damage of a charged shell and to instantly start charging with the first shell charged, cutting out some time. These would be greatly useful and would reward the players of shell-based damage to fish for perfect guards. I'm going to say that shell-based will still get the faster wyvern fire, but this is true regardless of the shell type, and so the other styles will get 2 good options from a perfect guard while shelling just 1. Another thing related to charged shells and wyvern fire is that they land less hit if you hit monsters at a farther distance. I would like the attacks to be more consistent and allow you to do full damage or none if you fail instead of just a bit. It is very hard to judge if you are going to get the full damage or not at a mid-distance. And the final wish that we aren't going to get is to add a way to cancel the wyvern fire. I would accept it even if it still would consume the charge. Since there is not a significant super armor or a guard point while performing the slow 4 seconds charged shells, you are a big sitting duck without any capacity of defense. Being able to cancel it into guard without consuming the charge would also allow you to perfect guard and try to fire it again with the improved speed. Consider it a middle ground between what we have now completely defenseless for 4 seconds and the rise version of being completely protected. I think it is a good compromise. And I'm going to stop here. Have you already filled the survey? What have you requested? I'm sure that a lot of us have also asked for better performance in low and mid-end equipment, but beyond that I'm interested in what you think about the new Wilds Gunlance and what change do you think is necessary. Thanks for watching. And see you in the possible future demo.